So welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Louise. My channel is mainly a haul on a Saturday at 5 o'clock. I do upload other things in between. Random, could be anything, what's happening that week, what's I've done that week. A lot of weeks there's not a lot at the moment. Going through some issues which we're going to talk about in a minute. I talk a lot and I do have fibro, so sometimes I find it hard to locate the correct word. I could say something, I realise from editing sometimes I say a whole sentence and it makes no sense, not even to me, so I don't even know what I was trying to say. So I just like to get those things out there at the beginning just so you understand. If you enjoy that type of thing and you just enjoy today's video, sorry that got a little bit loud, you want to give me a comment about anything. That's another thing that I did want to say. I can never big up my subscribers enough, never, because you're so awesome. You know, we are a lovely little family we've got here. Very supportive. I see the comments, you know that I'm looking at comments. I'm just not in a place to respond to an awful lot. I am working on it, I'm getting better. But again, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I do see you talking between each other, and you know, you support me massively, but you support each other, and that's really important. That really makes all this worth it for me. It's just those little things mean so much to other people. You just don't know what somebody else is going through, and that little bit of kindness it goes so far. So yeah, if you enjoy that sort of thing, you want to subscribe and be part of our little YouTube family, go for it. It's down there. I always try and be clever and like pretend like I know where it is, but I can never remember. I'm sort of just updating on what's going on because I didn't realise it had been so long. I have been in a really, so if you're new here, I've been going through some stuff. You'll have to go back, I think it's 3 weeks. I'll say an emotional something somewhere. It'll be the last one. Everything's been my hauls. So my hauls, I don't have an issue doing my hauls. It's part of my routine now. You know, it's like you get up and you go to work and stuff. And you know, Friday is my day I go shopping. I'll try to haul the same day if I can. If not, it'll be Saturday. It's just part of my routine. Doing these other videos at the moment is so huge for me at the moment. You know, massively overthinking everything. You know me, I overthink anyway. I mean, I think it's just generally in women's DNA more than it is in men's anyway. We just like to overthink. It's something I'm supposed to be really working on, so I am going to jump around a bit. I'm going to try and keep it as straightforward as possible, but you know what I'm like, it ain't going to happen. So last video I did have to have a quick look because I didn't realise where we was when I last updated. So last update I was going to see a therapist Tuesday. I have seen my therapist now. We've had 4 sessions. Absolutely amazing. He is like a godsend. Like, we are on the same wavelength. You know, if I have an expectation of what I want, the way you know, this is what I sort of want out of this session. I don't tell him that, but he just, it happens. Like, we're on the same wavelength. It's just, he's literally, it feels like at the moment he's just saved my life. I got so low. The worst place I've ever been in my life. So if you are new here, I'll try and recap little bits, but I'm not going into too much detail because as soon as I mention this bit that I'm going to mention now, usually tears flow. But this is actually the second time I've done this video because, like I said, I've overthink, and I was like 15 minutes into that thing before I decided that I didn't like it. So I'm not going to put up something I don't like. And I also realised I don't want to edit the video, so I'm not going to edit. The only bits I'm going to edit, like, you know, I have to put the bit on the beginning. I have to clip that together. But I'm not going to edit this. So it is what it is. If I mess up, I mess up. That you'll know now. If I mess up later, I'm not editing. I'm just putting it straight up because I want it to be as authentic as possible. I try to do that with my videos anyway, but the other videos, you know, sometimes if you're cooking you want to edit out that bit where you're whisking something for 3 minutes, you know, like those type of things. I try to keep as much as me in. And also, you know, with these emotional ones, things that I may think are irrelevant or, oh, that was a bit silly to say, will hit with somebody, will help somebody. That's why I put these up. Obviously, I'm getting something out of this. Speaking to you, I get something out of this. But also, ultimately, it would make everything worth, the whole YouTube channel worth it, if I can help just one person. And I know I have helped a few people because they've told me, and it means so, like, you won't You won't know how much that means to me. Right, if you are new here, my dog's passed, and I went on a big spiral, which you expect with grief anyway. And I knew that other things were getting triggered. I reached out a few times. It's not the first time I've tried to reach out in the past. I don't get very far normally, but I did reach out with work. And I got the therapist, which you know about from the last video. It's back there somewhere. About 3 weeks ago, I think I looked at it. So I have a 50-minute therapist appointment through Skype. Once a week on a Tuesday. We have 6 appointments, so we're on the 4th, so we're getting close to the end. Originally, I thought we was going to start talking about the grief, but it turns out not. We need to figure... I've just gone with the therapist because he knows what he's doing. It's clear he knows what he's doing, because I'm in such a better place than I was. I'm nowhere near being where I need to be, but I'm way, way better than I was. So it turns out I've always, like, a lot of what I'm going through now is because of childhood experiences. I've always said when somebody says, you know, how's your childhood, I've always explained it as it's just like anybody else's. You know, everybody has things in their childhood. I've always made it less than what it was. I know what I went through, but I've always been, I don't know if it's like that Taurus bull, you know, like I'm bullheaded. I always say bullheaded, like I'm stubborn. So I've always made a point, you know, my childhood is not going to affect my adulthood. It turns out it has. I just didn't know it. It's more subconscious. So the way it's been explained is, you know, obviously as you grow up, that's when you're learning how to be a human being. You're learning your skills. And then as an adult, you just subconsciously, that's what you are. So it's not been a conscious thing. I've not realised that a lot of the way I am, I've always felt that I'm not somebody that's particularly, I don't have a lot of courage. See, I've been trying to think of the right word and I don't know what it is. Courage is what comes up, and I don't know if that's it. I never really, like, I don't do confrontation whatsoever. Absolutely no confrontation whatsoever. If somebody gets loud or anything like that, I get like very physical reactions to that. You know, I get my heart pounds in my chest hard. My legs get I like go to jelly. I feel like my face must be bright red and swollen and hot, and that's instant, and that's not from anything big. That's like just a little bit of confrontation. So don't do confrontation. Turns out I don't speak my truth either. I'm very careful about my words, and I don't say a lot of what I may feel. So it turns out that that's a subconscious thing from my past. So I had a very emotionally abusive childhood, extremely emotionally abusive. From that, I learned that I couldn't say anything. I couldn't show my emotions, and I couldn't speak my truth, because if I did, it could directly affect somebody's life. That's the way I was picked up from what was going on in my life. It's hard to say it without saying it. So my mum had very what's the word, emotional problems, big ones, serious emotional problems. She had bipolar. She had a lot of other diagnoses, but I honestly can't remember a lot of them now. She also did drink a lot of alcohol. Now this sort of feels bad, me saying this, because she's not here anymore, and she can't defend herself. Not that she could defend herself from those, they're facts. They're not me making somebody out to be worse than they are. I have this sense, you know, that's my mum. I love my mum. I love my dad. But because of things that happened in the past, I'm suffering now. And the reason I'm trying to tell all my truth is because somebody may not realise that they may need some help. They might think it's them, and it might not be. It may be the same as me, because it's not just me that knows, you know. This is all subconscious stuff that I didn't know about. Like, you know, I knew about my childhood. I didn't realise that I am the way I am because of that. So I'm now having to learn how to speak my truth and not fear the consequences of my words. Now, when I say that, my words are not nasty words. They're not. They're just me having my own boundaries and sticking to my boundaries. Small things to other people that would have no issue with having a boundary and sticking to it. I have an issue with sticking to my boundaries because I always, like, if I say no, I can't just say no and that's it. I always feel like if I'm going to say no, which I very, very rarely ever do, then I've got to give a whole string of reasons behind it to justify something, and I shouldn't have to do that. That's not somebody else putting that on me, that's me putting that on me from what's happened in my childhood. It was put on me as a child and I learnt it. So I'm having now to learn how to consciously change the subconscious. So I'm changing my programming because I've been programmed to do these things. Little things that again, like when we go on, when I go to my therapist and the first thing he says is, how are you doing? And my response would always be, oh yeah, I'm okay. But that's not true. Like, that is a programmed response. And you know, I have to learn to speak my truth. I have to use my words carefully because I need to explain really how I am about things. So right now, my life is pretty much, I have high anxiety all the time. I've got myself to a point where I even struggle to go out of the house apart from work and shopping. That's the only time I go out. I did go out on Sunday, no, Saturday. I went out Saturday to the shop. Corey was in bed when I left because Corey has to lay in on a Saturday. And it's so unusual that I got a phone call from Corey because he was worried about me because I don't leave the house. And it was awful. I hated every second of it. I just walked around town. I literally didn't even take my hands out of my pockets. I walked around all these shops that I've never shopped in before. I wasn't looking at anything, you know, I was looking at the shelves but not seeing things, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be there. But I'm now choosing, you know, me going to a therapist is choosing to get better. It's choosing to make my life better. I've got a long way to go. Things I have to do, whether I want to or not, is make myself do things like go out for a walk, self-care, something like, you know, just sitting before I go to bed and putting some cream on my face or doing a face mask or something that's very small for a lot of people. I don't do. I didn't realise I don't do anything for me. And that's me, that's my fault. You know, Abby, Blossom, sorry, you'll know why I slipped up with that if you watched the story about Abby. Blossom, Corey and Scott are the main people in my lives, and they've always said the same thing, you know, you should do something for yourself. You know, like, even something silly, that's a word, okay, words. I talk to myself in a negative way, and you know that because, you know, you've told me I need to stop doing that, and that's very, very big. I didn't realise how much when you say a negative word in your head that you start to believe those things. There's a few words that it turns out are, again, from my childhood, so I've got to sort of metaphorically put it in a box and give it back. But it's really hard to stop doing something you've always done. Yeah, so like, even like this is cup I've wanted for the longest time. I even went in the shop today and looked at this stupid cup. Stupid is another word, not stupid cup. It's actually a lovely cup, so why I use the word stupid makes no sense. It's just a cup. It's like £1.75. It's not going to break the bank. But will I buy it for myself? No. I went into the shop the other day. Prime, you know, the Prime drinks. Everyone's gone nuts for these Prime drinks. Corey was just curious, like, oh, if ever you see one, I wouldn't mind trying it. It was behind the counter and I said, oh, I'll have one of them. Didn't even ask the price. It was £2. It was a 500ml drink. £2. Didn't think twice because it wasn't for me. So I have to start putting myself first. I was going to say forward more, but first. And not feel selfish for doing it. Because the things that I'm going to put myself first with are a lot of the things that a lot of people in real life just do normally. But for me, it's actually got to be a conscious decision. I've been learning sort of the anxiety to try and like level that down. I have a whole, what is the saying I'm supposed to say? My mind's gone blank. At this present moment, I am safe and okay. That's what I've got to say to myself, and I say over and over and over, and I concentrate on my breathing. And I have to concentrate, I concentrate on what's in my hands, what I'm doing, because I've got to be in the present, and that helps. My therapist and I do breathing exercises. He talks me through this, it's probably like a 5-minute thing. We did try a tapping thing as well, but I don't know, like, I think you have to do that a lot to get anything out of that one. But we've got so we only have 6 sessions. And we only briefly touched on grief this week, and very, very briefly. I'm supposed to be thinking about the water bowl. I've got to be thinking about the water bowl, so we're going to discuss the water bowl. You know what I mean, if you've been here for a while, the water bowl still has water in it, it's getting low again, my anxiety goes up, and I know what it's about. It's because if the water bowl goes empty, then it's more real, and I've got to actually acknowledge it. So the dog's going has been put in a box, and I'm aware of this, and it's in my brain, and I'm what's the word when you not acknowledging it? No, not pretending like it hasn't happened. I can't think it. I know you'll be screaming at the screen because I know it. He's in there somewhere, but I can't. So I'm in denial. I'm in denial of it. That's what the water bowl is about. I know what it's about, but I just need to keep filling the water bowl up. But so we've not really touched on grief yet, because so much has happened in my childhood, and people have affected me in ways that I didn't realise, and I've got to learn how to be an adult because there were certain things when he says to me, well, you know, you don't have to do that. Like when I say to him, like, just not relevant, you know, like, this is bothering me and I don't know how to react to it, and his response was, you're an adult, you have a choice, you can choose what to do, because it was either do this or do that. And I know I'm an adult, but, and this might sound, again, trying to think of the right word, I don't know, can't think of the correct word. It's like I didn't realise I had a choice. I'm an adult. I can choose what I do. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. You know, I have to pay bills, I have to go to work, those things, but like, I don't have to answer the phone to somebody. I don't have to go and see somebody. I don't have to speak to somebody if I don't want to. I don't have to do that. And it took 3 therapy sessions for me to realise that. And it's a revelation. It seriously is a revelation. So therapy literally is saving my life. The only problem is we get 6 sessions and then we have to both sign this contract. With the way this works, because of how it's gone through our workplace, I think he looked into it for me because it was something that, again, I was getting anxiety about, so he looked into it. And we have to have no contact after the 6 weeks for 2 months. And then because I said, you know, I'm happy to pay for, you know, I'll scrim and scrap, I'll get the money together, pay for sessions, because these 6 sessions are not going to be enough, and this is going to be my self-care. It's something now I know I need. I've got a lot to learn still, a lot of coping mechanisms to learn, and we have 2 more sessions. So he's trying to give me as much as he can within the 6 sessions to keep me going. So you're updated on that. Still not answering your comments. I am reading them all. I've got myself into a spot and I'm aware I'm doing it, but it's trying not to do it, but it's really, really hard. Like literally just living every day right now is really hard. Everything is really hard. I have to consciously think of everything in my life just to keep going. I've got to find a new routine. I don't have a routine. I still don't see the point in anything right now. But those things will come as we go along, as I keep forcing myself to maybe go out for a walk, or I'm not going to go into town. Turns out people trigger me. So going out for a walk, trying to force myself to do more videos. Right now my life is forced myself to do everything, but you know, I am in such a better place than where I was. I can smile, I can laugh, I can work on myself and get my anxiety levels down myself. I can do that for me. So revelation, amazing. Okay, so there'll be a stop cut thingy, whatever there. That's the only bit of editing in this video that I'm going to do, because I had to blow my nose and I'm not going to show you that. I know authenticity and all that, but that's gross. So yeah, we're in a good place. I was going to say something, but that's put me off. Don't know. If anything's, you know, if you got any thoughts, feelings, put them down below. I will read them, like I said. I will try to respond to some, maybe. Oh, Corey's home. He's standing outside. You know how I always said that people outside the window distracts me? So Corey's home. Oh, it's earlier than I thought it was. Yeah, it's Corey.
Oh.
Alright.
Oh, sorry.
That's right, say hello, because I'm not editing this.
Alright.
So I'm going to go. Corey's home and we have discussed everything anyway. I hope this has helped somebody. You know, it's what we on Thursday. I'm going to try and get the video up tonight. Sending out good vibes as I always do. I hope some of you are catching them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.